I'm sorry.
I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me that we made it all right.
I made it just fine. If someone didn't fall on their ass in a miscommunication.
I was a victim in this situation. It was wet. There was tiles. My boots don't have traction on flat tiles, and I fell and hurt myself. I'm a victim, and you're victim shaming.
The victim's little bitch.
And then he said 5 stops, and we got off 5 stops later.
Because I didn't know you weren't on
And then he gave
that.
me shit that I got off in the wrong one, but I trusted this boy with everything in my heart.
We didn't know. I didn't know until like after I had talked to DJ, where it was like.
That sounds like Epstein's defense. You didn't know.
I literally didn't know till DJ and I got off on the transfer, and it was like, hey, where are the other ones? And he's like, oh, they missed their stop. And I was like, I told him 5 stops. Like, I thought they were just in the train car over.
You weren't
Why?
You weren't ready for that, were you? What? Put a smile on that face, baby. You know why? Because this is ExAnime, episode 128. I knew it. You knew it. Hey, we're on our B-list this week. So we have got Konosuba, A Blessing on This Wonderful World. Sorry, that's wrong. Whatever. Dr. Stone Season 3. And we're also going to talk about the OVA that we never got to originally on there. And then we have Hell's Paradise, which, oh, yes.
The Dangers in My Heart.
Which is weird. And then Skip and Loaf.
Loafer. Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. Konosuba starting strong. My girl Megameme over here.
Yeah.
Just look at her, boys.
Look at all of them. He has a problem.
I don't have a problem. No, don't look. Stop looking.
There's 8 Megameme figures. 9.
There's 9. Yeah, you forgot the little one.
I couldn't see the little
I was like, wait a minute. Am I missing one? I got that one in Tokyo.
You did.
I can't reach it. It's not that far.
I would assume you're probably going to get another one at AI, too.
Shut up. Why am I being judged? We're 30 seconds into the podcast. I'm getting judged on.
And variety.
Yeah. Mid. Megameme's the best. Oh, do any of your characters have a show specifically with their name in the title? Oh, the what? What? The C2, the anime? The whatever her name is again? Menma, the anime? Or Hina, the anime? I think not, good sir. Haruhi Suzumiya, her own name. Konosuba, Blessing on This Megameme's the main star on there.
Yeah, okay.
But listen, it's Pikachu. He's got his own show. Oh. Hey, but besides that, we're talking about everything we're watching this week. It's nice and clean, episodes 1 through 3.
Yes.
It's going to be so nice always talking about the B-list because it's just like, hey, we have to watch episodes 1 through 3. So you know what the spoilers are. Man, Megameme's still poor, man. I didn't realize how poor she was. I mean, listen.
You saw it in the movie.
Well, she was poor, but I never imagined she had to go scavenge for food daily on there just to support the family.
Gotta do what
Tell
you
us,
gotta
Justice,
do.
how was it like? Or did you feel a personal connection to this episode?
I mean,
this boy said it was privilege
when they didn't have AC. I felt that.
You felt that? Yeah. That's a nice callback. Did we talk about that on Cross or Bond?
I have no idea.
God. He called me privileged today when I was in the car because I grew up in a house that's from the 1800s.
It's still a house. House is a house.
Shut up. Okay, so we're back again with Megameme. She's doing 2 things this season, right?
The voice actress
Takahashi, yeah. She's doing
she was the voice of I in Oshinoko.
Yeah, I was thinking if she was doing she's doing 3 things this season.
Yes.
Actually, I like how every time her voice actor, she does a role, she does like the hair change, and she did it this time for I, and I was like, still on top of it. Keep it up, girl. And she also said you should put on deodorant and shower before you go to the live meet and greet on there.
Look, she knows the audience and she knows them well.
Having fun there with the cord.
Yeah.
No, I mean, oh God, I forgot the first thing I wrote. You care to read what I wrote? The first thing I wrote there?
I gotta read.
Look at that first thing.
Starting off huge with this huge titted mage.
The first girl you see on there, they're doing an explosion. She's got like big old titties, and they make that half the frame on there. And you get another scene where it's like, do you think like angles in anime are weird? Because it's Megameme down at the bottom of the frame, and like 60% of the frame is taken up by her titties. Not Megameme's because she's flat like a 2x4, but the mage.
Look, it's Konosuba. You expect some like on the nose weird angles because they know exactly what they're doing.
Megameme did give a what's his name? Who Kazuma?
Yes.
There's a scene where like Union says something, it's kind of pervy, and Megameme gives the like classic Kazuma like thumbs up and the look, like the grinny look. It's like get that grin off your face. I enjoy this show a lot.
Of course you do. It's everything that you wanted because it's more of her.
Shut up. I feel judged again. No, the show's good though because it's the whole story is gonna follow Megameme while she's in school, like when she's going to be an archmage.
Crimson Mage.
Which is kind of weird because you know how some of this is going to go? Because, like, Union Wright gives up her power, or she doesn't specialize in anything because I believe in the TV show they're getting attacked. And Megameme's backstory is she was going to use her Archmage, like, points to not become, like, an Archmage. And then Union ended up using it to protect Megameme from that one monster that attacks, right?
It's been a while since I've seen the main show. I kind of wish
they
would have done another season.
Well, they're going to be doing another season probably
eventually.
Right after that. Well, I feel like they're going to do this, then they'll do another season of Konosuba.
It's been years.
It's
been like 3 years since the movie came out.
Has it been that? There's no way it's been that long since the movie.
Yeah.
Are you going to look that up?
Yes.
3.
It's been a really long time.
That's right.
It's probably been way longer.
What? Because Belle came out. We didn't do Belle we did last year, like beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. It's probably been 2 years. Did we see that together?
Yes.
Where did we see that in Altoona?
No.
Jesus, you're right. It might have been 3 years. No, but okay, so listen. The whole point of Megameme's personality in the original show is like, oh, it's because she's just kind of nerdy, quirky. Nah, man, this whole school is like, it doesn't matter what your power is. You got to look cool while doing it. And literally they're in a class where they're just like, oh, did you find it?
Not yet.
So they're in a class and the teacher's like summoning this like lightning magic from the sky. And then immediately he's like, okay, so we got to do this pose, and then lightning strike on there. And I was like, so this is going to be the whole series is them just looking cool. Because
it's the Legend of the Crimson, right?
Yeah, Legend of the Crimson Demon?
Yeah,
I think is what it is.
It's summer 2019.
So almost 4 years? Wait, 20, yeah, it's 4 years technically.
Yeah, it's been a while, my dude.
That was like a live premiere in both countries, wasn't it? Like Kevin almost at the exact same time?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but you remember the whole class.
The anime came out, season 2 was 2017.
Shut up, it'll get there eventually. 7 years. No, but the whole scenes of like, you realize why Megameme's the way she is because she's taking these stupid classes where they're teaching her to pose rather than teach her like kind of actual magic on there. Because in episode 3, all the guys are just posing, shooting magic at these gargoyles in the city that are attacking. They're like 2 miles away shooting at them, and they destroy the entire city. They're like, who cares? They look cool. And then they fix the city the next morning.
They're very talented and stupid. They're very stupid.
They're beyond stupid.
Yeah.
You just seem so puzzled by
these
guys.
Like,
you seem
they
stressed
don't
about these guys.
they don't do anything. Even their main teacher, the last 2 episodes, his entire thing is not teaching. But popping in a moment going, hey, we're doing some really important shit, and then slamming the door closed.
Go study in the library.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you guys even do?
In the regular TV show, Konosuba regular, they're like, oh, we'll go about our day-to-day life, trade some money, whatever. They make a point in this show of like, why are we in the library? We get like no XP for this. We're supposed to become archmages. I'm like, that's a morbid way of thinking in life. Like maybe you can learn something.
No, they're excited to go out and attempt to kill stuff because they were having like
killing the rabbit,
immoral conundrums of like it's real cute, and Megameme's over there like, do it,
do it, kill it. Fine, I'll do it myself, and then the lizard gets free. It's like he's not even spry or ready to die on there.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Union is very, very lonely because like it kind of got very depressing when she's in the library reading books like Turtle and Friends, Rabbit and Friends. Oh, you like this series about the turtle that makes friends?
Plants have hearts.
It's like, Union, you poor. But even the twins try and make friends with her, and then she decides, nah, I'm going to go follow Megameme outside, and we'll like be buddies still. It's like, you should have just taken what you could have gotten, woman. You could have had 2 friends. We gave it up for one nemesis that steals your food daily.
Yeah, but Megameme's like way cooler than them. Like, so.
Did you just say Megameme's cool?
Well, cooler than the people that you're already referencing. Like, calm down. My 800-year-old vampire waifu is way cooler than your fucking lazy ass explodey.
One word, cringe.
I'm sorry. You're the one with 9 of the same like person
Man,
figures sitting behind you.
What's up with these personal attacks? They're collector items, Justice.
They're action figures. Thank you very much.
They're action. They're no action, but they are figures. No, this series, listen, it just all felt like one long
episode.
Because I watched episode 1 and 2 together, and I watched episode 3 later on there. I'll be real. I don't see how this is going to be 12 full episodes. It's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's cool seeing her actually develop the skills, but I was kind of hoping
are they going to do multiple seasons of this?
I think this is going to be a one-off. I mean, I bought the manga, but it's in Japanese, so I really couldn't tell you,
I know it's in English. Like, we have serialization in English. So, like, that shouldn't be a problem at all. We met a real perverted stalker man.
Oh my.
And the weird part about it is
it was beyond creepy.
He's very much like cringy stalker boy that is in love with the hot chick.
It was a little, I'm going to be real, it was a little much at one point.
Oh, as he's like going into detail about like how he really keeps an eye on her.
Bukoroi.
Yeah.
Bukoroi. Listen, at one point, maybe he was like, oh, he's a friend. Then he describes like, yeah, I watch her go in the forest every single day at a certain time to train on there. And then I just kind of dug this hole so she'd fall in and I can pull her out. And it's like,
I just want to be able to touch her hand. And it's like, I mean, you could just not do any of that.
And then there was, I didn't
get
save
to the library and he shows up there.
He can teleport on there. He's like, I have 3 well, they mentioned like there's 3 teleportation spots you can have. He's like, 1 is the library because she comes here to study and I can just show up. 1 is right in front of her house because obviously I can't go inside because I've never been inside. It's like, so this boy is telling me if he had the opportunity to be inside her house and just teleport and watch her sleep every night, he would take that opportunity. That's exactly what this boy has said.
He also knows how to go invisible. Thankfully, that
it takes a while to go invisible, but still she can notice him.
Yeah.
Listen, dude, it's beyond creepy. And at one point, I can't remember, there was the quote making me say, it's like, oh, if I had the money to like creep on her, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm probably creepy. Making me was like, you're a neat and you're beyond creepy already. And it's like, my girl over there just calling it how she sees it there, dude.
Very much so. He's real cringe. And I think the worst part about it is he eventually like gets her to read the fortune and it doesn't work. And then you realize
for background, he did ask, is there a love? Well, first, like, do I have a girlfriend, wife? It's like, oh, any love in your future? It's just blank.
Yeah. And he's like, immediately jumps to like, oh, I'll, never have anyone to love me. And then she brings up because they're like, why don't you see who you would ever fall in love with?
We can't read our own fortunes.
Yeah. It's like, it just wouldn't work. And it's like, the real stalker dude is totally having a chance with you. And I think that's worse. I think that
he has a chance with her?
Yes.
Yeah, that's even worse.
What
if she's really in the pegging and he's not? Like, what if she just wants to take advantage of him?
Look, it would be better for his future than what he's doing now.
I do have to mention Megumi's like kid sister is very adorable, and Megumi definitely took the approach of like she steals Union's lunch. But then it seems like she brings it home almost every day to let her little sister just eat. It's like, aren't you hungry, sister? Nah, I'm full. I had lunch. It's like, it's real G right there. Letting her little sister eat something delicious.
Still
steals.
Look at that thief. She's a fucking criminal and she deserves her hands to be cut off.
Oh, so you think Robin Hood should have his hands cut off? Steal from the rich, give to the poor? He was a man of the people, Justice.
He was fake.
Viva la revolution.
Yeah, whatever. He's still a criminal. Off with his head. Both of them.
Wow. So you tell me if you were dirt poor, you wouldn't steal for your sister?
No. Because I would do what my dad did. Skip meals to feed.
That's what she's doing.
No.
There is no food. They were scavenging for bugs in a field to feed her sister.
She was already kind of eating food, but stealing from other people.
To give her
my
sister.
My dad just went hungry to make sure his kids could eat. It's different. Also equally depressing. I love how I can make everything depressing.
Hey, the cat was adorable, though. Yeah, that's almost what I named Ed, by the way.
They still don't have his like actual name yet. It's
Yeah, they're
right
call-
now. It's Ink.
Well, Megumin came up with an excuse. She got this cat. Everyone's like, "Oh, what is it?" She's like, "Oh, it's my familiar, teacher. Still can't keep it." And she mentions in like episode 1, like, "I need to sit down and rest because I have this dark power that's hidden within me." He's like, "I can't let this seal be broken." And it's like, this dude is just dumb, right?
Yes.
Like she's trying.
Well, Megumin is also the top of the class, and though it is really over the top,
He's giving her basically a Naruto backstory. And it's like, "This is my cat, my familiar. You can't have a cat in this class, even if it is your familiar. Get rid of it." "Well, my seal might get broken if this cat isn't with me." He's like, "You can keep the cat officially." And then everyone just calls the cat Megumin.
Yeah.
She's very annoyed with it.
Yep. So now it's Ink.
Ink.
Currently, Ink.
His name is Ink, which is an adorable name, but it's eventually going to be Chomusuke?
Chamusuke.
Chomusuke?
Yeah. The
Japanese.
Just imagine Megumin saying it, and it's way more like.
The only thing I can
adorable
think of what she called is like Chim Chim Chamaru.
sounding.
When Kazuma gets that little tiny dagger on there.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot that's with this show. I mean, we will eventually need to move on there. I mean, what would you give this show so far? What's your feeling of this show so far? I really enjoy it, but that's because it's Konosuba and has one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite voice actors in it. So mine is not, my opinion doesn't matter.
7.
Just like how your opinion didn't matter for Oshinoko, my opinion's the only one that matters.
My opinion is with the masses here. 7 currently.
7? Respectable. You know, probably deserves like a 10 out of 10 already on there. Also, I do have to say before we move on, Megumin's parents are like, what?
10 out of 10, huh?
10 out of 10, huh? It's an emotional story. How like her sister takes care of her daughter by going to school and becoming an arch wizard to save the world. What do you mean?
No.
Also, the parents are adorable, but equally as dumb, and her dad's a con artist. Hey.
Well, yes.
You know, Justus, speaking of con artists, did you know Senku in Dr. Stone is also an equally good con artist?
Well, some would say Geen is better because that's basically what he did.
Yeah. Listen, we're talking about, speaking of Konosuba taking forever, Dr. Stone took a way long time, too. There was the OVA last year that filled the hole, but I'm pretty sure it's been about this like 3 or 4 years since season 2 ended.
No, because we talked about season 2 on the podcast.
Did we talk about season 2 on the podcast?
We did.
So it's been 10 to 12 years since the last time we talked about Dr. Stone. I'm going to say it right now. I love Dr. Stone.
It's very good.
I think
show.
Dr. Stone is one of the best shows out there. Plus,
is it better
plus
than
science,
Konosuba?
bitches.
Is it better than Konosuba?
Well, hold up. Don't know your place, Justice. I'll be real. I'm going to say I think it is better than Konosuba, even though I love Megumin. Listen, every time, I'm going to be real, every time Senku makes an achievement or like everyone's like, yeah, we did it. I'm over on the couch like, fuck you, let's go. We did it.
Look, they made the thing. I wouldn't try doing that, but they did it.
They always have the disclaimer of please don't try this at home, especially when they made gasoline. It's like no one should ever try and attempt this at home.
Yeah.
So big things happen, Dr. Stone. I guess we should talk about the OVA.
So we're doing 3 episodes in the OVA.
So the OVA, we'll talk about that first because that happened.
Yeah.
That's where we left
The
off.
OVA
Where he's like, we're gonna travel across the ocean, but we need to make a boat.
Yeah, the OVA is the biggest like cock tease ever because
it picks up on a tease, right?
Yeah, so it picks up immediately where season 2 ended, where it's like we need to go find the source of the
They One Pieced you at
beam.
that, man. They're like, come on, let's go, and it's like,
Yeah.
none of that happens.
Yeah, and then in the trailers you have Senku wearing the captain like outfit and all of that, and it looks like they're on a boat. At no point, except for a speedboat that they make to test the gasoline that they make.
The boat hasn't even launched. We're 3 episodes in. No one's on the boat.
The proper boat that they're making, 3 episodes into season 3, doesn't exist. And the captain is a different dude that they revived. And
I will say in the trailer, they did it from behind when they officially are like sailing out, and it's like, oh, that's Senku on the boat, and then it's like, nah, like you said, it's like, nah, this is a completely different dude.
Yeah.
And the last revival fluid they have, they revive him, right? They make a whole point of, we don't have much left. We have very little. And then like he's like, yo, we need to make bread that lasts a long time. We got to be careful, man. We got to figure this out. And they're like, nah, I need to revive my butler.
Well, no, that's the reporter having a secret stash.
Yeah.
Which I mean, totally tracks.
She just had it in her horn, dude.
Well, yeah.
She's like, boop. I'm like, come on.
I'm gonna look at tracks. You get a lot kind of going on while nothing at all is going on. It's weird to say that way, but time is passing. But like the things that they're doing, it isn't crazy.
Listen, between episode 2 and episode 3, wheat has grown and winter is coming.
Yeah. Well, they did make a speedboat and find oil and like
they started making an oil refinery. They have an oil refinery going, like not refinery, but they're mining it up.
Mm-hmm.
They built like mine temple looking things on top of it.
Yeah. So with the OVA, they revive a very greedy, rich.
Nanami.
Yeah.
He's the world's billionaire. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. It gets annoying. Dude needs to stop snapping, dude.
It's just like
it's a clean snap, but I hate it. You can go jump off a building, dude. It's so annoying. It physically makes me want to hurt someone every time I hear this snap. Now
he got a hell of a butler though.
That butler, it's like, don't worry, my butler can prepare for any. At one point, like, is it a guy? Is it a girl? It's like, nah, we're just gonna brush over this.
I don't know.
I don't know this. He's so rich. He's like, I don't know. People just did stuff for me. He's really good at navigating.
Mm-hmm.
And then like,
because it's Francis essentially is the name, and
I think it's like Francisco is like the real name, but they call her Francis the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Can they fix the eyes in this show?
No, that's part of the look.
The
look is fine.
The boys look cool, but all the girls have like these big like supposedly kawaii anime girls, and they're like this far apart, but all the guys have normal looking eyes.
Yeah,
or cool looking eyes. Like, also they play a political like money game halfway through the show. It's like,
yeah, because
Nanami's like, okay, I'm gonna make money, and I own the rights to the oil field. You're gonna have to buy it, and then Senku's like, what does he do?
So they print a bunch, but while looking,
Nanami prints a bunch.
Yes. And while looking for the oil, they have to make a bunch of other stuff because eventually they're like,
they have to make paper for a hot air balloon.
Fabric for a hot air balloon.
Yeah, and then in order to like, they promise $100,000 to whoever collects the most, and they're like, well, where are we gonna get that money? He's like, well, we have fabric, we can make fashion. They open like a modern fashion boutique, hold a fashion show where the old guy is the coolest looking dude. He's like,
in season 3, he wears it again when he comes rocking back to like the science tribe area. I forget what they officially call it.
Yeah.
And it's like, my boy rocks the shit out of that look. And then you see his bare ass. It's like,
he breaks it.
Yeah.
But they make a fashion show. So this is the whole breakdown of it. They need fabric to make a hot air balloon to find oil. So then they convince everyone to grow the whatever. They get
it wasn't wheat. It was something else,
like papyrus or I don't know. They do something. Then they're like, we're gonna give you $100,000 whoever collects the most. Well, everyone collects it and they need to pay people for it. But in order to pay people for it, they do this whole Ponzi. Like, Jin is very good at conning people, and he's like, okay, we're gonna have a fashion show because if we have a fashion show, Nanami, the rich dude's gonna buy everything, and because he buys everything, then they have cash to give everybody. I'm like, man, this is like one like 2008 bankruptcy. Like the whole thing crumbles down.
I mean, it works. The problem is like, while Nanami is greedy and smart, he's very talented. When you finally see him, like, because they make the hot air balloon in the air, some of the skills on sea kick in, and you're like, oh, he really knows his shit. Like, there's a reason why.
That's why I love Dr. Stone. They think it out, man. It's been a while since I've had something like that.
But like,
no one thinks.
On certain aspects, he's really dumb. And when you deal with someone who's essentially a professional con artist and a very smart individual, probably, well, legitimately the smartest person currently alive.
Well, even before, I forgot, like, before Francis pops up, they're like, we need revival fluid. She has it. How is she going to give it up? It's like, what is it? I just love the whole, like, you don't know what's happening until it happens, which I miss. Because you got that in, like, Code Geass and Death Note. It's like, what's going on? Then it happens. Like, oh, shoot. Because Gin is good at conning people. He cons the reporter and will make whatever you want. She gives it up. It's like, what do you want? It's like, I want a camera. It's like, oh, that's what I was working on this whole time. It's like, cool, the single camera. I get one photo. Then, of course, he pops up. He's got like 50 cameras set to go on there.
Yeah.
I don't even know how half that worked. And I know film.
It
threw me off, man. He's like, okay, we're going to make the silver nitride, blah, blah, blah. Like old tech.
Yeah, because then they initially start with like, oh, you wanted a mirror? That's kind of vain. And it's like, well, no.
We put the mirror in this, and it does this, and it does this other.
Mm.
That's what I'm talking, dude. It's like kind of like some of the Death Note level or Code Geass. Like, oh, you got to go down this like 20 paths to get where we're actually going.
Yeah. It's really good and super entertaining because even at one point when
I cried during these episodes, by the way. I know exactly when it was.
Was it when she finally realized she could take the picture, or like?
That had me teary. I will say what made me cry is when Chrome was like, "Oh my god, we can travel the world." I'm like, "Oh my god, they can travel the world, and you can fly." And I get teary when they did.
Of course, you did.
The fuck you! It was emotional.
Like Senku basically has 2 tribes that he's in charge of now.
It's because all the old people stayed at the old village.
Yes. So you have the original village and then the one that he beat. What is it?
The tough guy, whatever. He's still in cryostasis.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
It's not important.
It's not directly on our main list this time. Like at one point they're like, "Well, who's gonna build this massive ship?" And he's like, "Fucking look around you.
Look at the buff.
Look
dudes.
at all the."
It's like straight out of
he
JoJo.
He did the work for us.
Yeah, he like straight out of JoJo made all these buff people.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the biggest teases at the end of the episode. We'll skip ahead. Episode 3, yeah.
It was a really good like place to end on, where it's like, shit.
Well, they have their radio going. They're trying to broadcast out the test, and they're getting a radio signal that says why. I'll be honest, like I said before, I'm like, oh, it's smart. You don't know what's going on. Immediately I heard it. I'm like, it's Morse code.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever. People that know it know. People that don't. And I was like, I picked out the W and I couldn't pick out the rest. I'm like, I don't know what the rest is, but I know what W is.
And then, I could tell that it was Morse code, but I couldn't tell what it was.
Well, then he was like, oh, it's Y. And I'm like, oh, man, are those people still alive? Because it's been 3,700 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've iterated this a lot.
Yes. It is a long time. So,
there's some devices that they've made that can constantly repeat for like thousands of years, apparently, but I don't know. I enjoy it. Yeah, I got teary. It was kind of emotional.
Broadcasting like why and just all of their responses to that being like, what the fuck? And that's where it cuts off.
I think Dr. Stone is really good at one thing in particular, besides being an amazing show, is being the biggest cuck.
It knows when to like. It's a good 3-episode beat. Like, imagine if you.
Well, I feel like a lot of people are working on a 3-episode try, and I know studios know this, and maybe this is the.
Yeah, it is season 3 with an OVA,
yeah,
but
if season try, right?
Yeah, well, if someone was trying to figure out if
they wanted to get into original Dr. Stone.
No, I wasn't gonna say that. Like. To keeping the like interest, because sometimes, especially when you get into later seasons, people continuously fall off.
Yeah.
So like this is that good like the hooks are in.
I feel like Dr. Stone has done a fantastic job of keeping you interested literally the entire time on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because season 1 was great, and then you get to this kind of climax, and season 2 was like, oh, now we gotta revive this guy, we gotta get to the other side of the earth, figure out this stuff, get everyone back to the way they were, and then do this. Oh my god, I love the show. I'm excited for the next episode that come out, but the next episode literally just came out episode 3 came out just the other day, so a whole week.
Yeah,
a lot of people died in Dr. Stone, supposedly.
Oh, I thought I already had in my head the shitty segue you were going to use, and I'm disappointed you didn't use it.
What?
Do you know who doesn't need to be revived? The boy who can't die.
Hey, Justice did a segue. Hey, he can die. He just chooses not to die on there.
Really? Okay. That motherfucker was flogged, attempted to be decapitated, set on fire.
We're talking about Hell's Paradise, by the way. This is another thing. I got beef with Hell's Paradise.
Is it?
Why is Sagiri our woman there, I'm not going to even bother with her, Yamada Isamon, whatever, but Sagiri, the woman that was sent to kill him, first of all, she does all these cool moves, super, super confident. And I hate when they do this. They take this really cool, strong female lead, and then the next episode, they're like, she's a weak woman. It's like, oh, come on, dude. But the character design is actually really, really, really cool for all these. You have basically white Yuriichi.
Oh, okay.
That's basically what listen, her character design is basically the same, minus she's not like tan. And the way she acts, I kind of wonder if it's... Wait, that's Ray. That's literally Megumi again. So she's in 4 shows, never mind, this season out of the shows. But they do introduce a few new characters. I mean, obviously not a few, a whole bunch of characters on there. I think this show has some of the best unique character design.
Yes.
There's so many individual characters this entire show that I'm like, yo, I'm ready for people to die. I'm ready for people to live.
I don't quite care about like character design and certain stuff like
really?
that. Like,
that was so cool.
I think they look cool. There's one thing in here where it's like, God, that's really dumb. I'll look past it, but it's really dumb to be like the core thing you guys bring up. Like,
what? Yui's dick burn on her face?
Yes, where it's like, no,
it's a dick.
Well, no, it's not even like that, but that like, oh, no one would love me like with that. Where it's like, bitch, you're still hot. Like, oh no.
Listen, I'm just saying by American standards, she's hot. By Japanese standards, she's like a 5.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Just
to
that.
Be like, oh, I'm the village chief's daughter.
I would ask you your opinion, but you're desperate enough. In my opinion, if you walk up to a woman, she's got a dick burn on her face, I mean, come on, man.
Like, it's whatever.
They needed to change that burn mark, man. Just make a solid whatever. But it's like, to emphasize, it looks like a dick, man. There's no other way around this.
I think you're too hung
She's
up on
also the most mid character in this entire show. Her personality's like, the whole point of this is...
Her personality is kindness. While her daddy is an immortal prick.
Gabi Maru,
yes,
like, is our main boy, and he just looks exactly like the boy from, like, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon?
Kind of, yeah.
I said everyone's unique, and then you get some of the most mid-looking main characters on there. But his whole point of living, and you don't find this out until, like, episode 2, basically, is like, I want to be with my wife and live a normal life. How many people have you killed? Let's not ask that question at all. It's not important to this. Also, how many torture methods did they do to him? So they tried to pull him apart by a bowl.
He had 2 bowls.
2 bowls.
They tried to behead him, which didn't work.
Once. Then they burnt him at the stake.
And
he walked out of that.
Yes.
Which his whole immortality thing, and he's like, I'm just all skill. It's like, that wasn't skill, my man. You should have died on that.
They tried... Did they try burning him twice? Because they tried just regularly lighting him on fire, and then they tried oil, right?
Oh, that's right. Then they tried oil. Yeah, so there was 4. I feel like there was one more that we're missing.
She tried to kill him.
She tried to kill him one-on-one, and then he ended up killing a couple people down there anyways.
Yeah. So, like,
he's considered just a huge monster, which makes me wonder what everybody else's ability, because you meet a few people. They've only have a few up here. So
you meet some people... A lot of people, and then they all die, or most of them die. You meet
like 30 people in episode 2. It's like, these are all criminals. I'm like, half of them have terrible, spot the main character game was kind of hard on this one because half of them had a plain design. The other half were cool. It's like, wow, that's an interesting character. They're going to use him, right? And then they kill him 2 seconds later. It's like, oh, I guess we're not using the character. Like,
yeah. Well, they do use them, like, a couple characters later. They're like, we're going to get some, like, really interesting ones. Like, there's this big-titted blonde chick, Aginu, where it's like, she's trying to seduce her, like, dude. And then you eventually cut back, and it's, like, her fucking dead.
Her head's cut off, yeah. He dicked her down, then cut off her head on there. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, good for you. Because to be fair, the rules are very specific of, like, if you're trying whatever. I wonder if they're going to go into that detail. Like, they'll go back and like, this would actually happen. She tried to poison him, then he cut off her head or something like that. No, I will point out, there's a dude in here. His name is Aizen. Not Aizen, but like Aizen, like E-I. Super cool. I'm like, he's like that one guy from Bleach. I forget his name. He's got a cool character design. He's got a lot of talking parts on there. He's like really good with a sword, right? And then you get to like episode 3. He's like, yo, big dude, are you hungry? Dead.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, oh, maybe he survived. It's like, nah, blood everywhere, head's missing. And the dude's like licking his fingers.
Upper torso's missing.
Yeah. And he's like licking his fingers. I'm like, oh, they killed one of the coolest characters off of the show already? He was cool. And then you get like Tamiya. He's like the samurai that went bad and killed a whole bunch of people or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he gets stuck. Like, I'm just saying the design of this show and like the individual stuff is really cool.
Yeah, because the main premise is like the shogunate wants basically immortality and is trying to send them to what's called paradise.
Yeah.
To get it, but every single time on this expedition that someone's gone to paradise.
Yeah, they sent like what, like 12 expeditions?
Yeah,
and
which is a lot.
12 expeditions, like 50 guys, and only one guy's returned, and he's like half flower now.
Yes. Well, when they initially wheeled him out, I was like, oh, he's dead. And then he starts laughing, and it's like, oh, that's real creepy.
That's what I thought, too, because he just sat there the entire time.
Yeah. And then
wheelchairs do exist in this time period.
It's weird. But
they're trying to look for the fruit of life or something.
Yeah.
Or
and
they call it different things. So they bring all these convicts out.
Mm-hmm. And Gabimaru knows it exists because the village chief has totally used it. They show, like, at one point, that man puts a sword through his head.
He puts a sword through his head and he gets stabbed like 40 times. He's getting poisoned, set on fire, hit by arrows.
Like, doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm sure the easy, most logical thing to do is just cut off his head, put it in a box, and then put it on a boat and send it real far away. Because though he ain't going to die, he doesn't have a body.
You know what they say about putting heads in boxes? If it fits, it ships anywhere in the United States for one low flat rate.
Oh, I was going to say, like, if there's a hole, you better watch out for the bite.
You know who? I got beef real quick. Sorry, before we continue. Kayun, the like monk that murdered people, super cool character. They have a 10-second fight and they're like, nah, kill him off. Sorry.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point. They're all really badass people. And it's
cool characters, but you're just immediately.
Yes, and every so often you have that one where it's like, that dude's like murdered 30 women and children, and he gets to fucking rock to the face. And it's like, that was quick.
They do point out to make you not feel good for some of these criminals. Like, oh, maybe they did it for a good reason. Like, our boy did it. Then halfway through, that guy's chuckling like, oh, because if they get this fruit thing or whatever and
they
bring
get
it
an
back,
official
pardon, but then they made it seem later like that guy was talking like, oh, I can just keep on killing and they can't do anything about it. But in my mind, it's like, well, why not take a bite of the fruit yourself, then give it to him so you're also immortal?
Two fruits on there.
Think it's a golden apple?
No,
like
the peach.
Listen, there is one character you haven't seen Attack on Titan. Fuchi. It's the blonde boy that's got like the big old eyes like Rock Lee. It looks exactly like that one gal from Attack on Titan. It kind of threw me off. But I'm looking at some of these pictures, kind of spoiling it for myself. Not really. I see a lot of characters we haven't seen yet. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. But they have 3 days is the big thing. 3 days to retrieve this fruit. Otherwise, everyone just gets killed.
Yeah.
And we're like 20 minutes on the island by episode 3. Like half the people are just dead.
Yeah, half the people are dead. The executioners that are accommodating them, they're all high professionals from this specific village. And you find out that it's also going to help decide the next village chief.
Yeah, whoever maybe comes back with it.
Yeah, the stakes just keep getting higher.
Because how many people went to the island? Like 12?
With 24 total.
Well, 24, right? But I'm trying to think how many convicts. So 12?
I believe it's 12.
So I'm trying to think of who's left. So the monk dude.
It was either 12 or 6. I don't remember.
Well, monk dude is dead. His went back. His, comment or whatever. Red haired dude is dead. But that other dude's alive. The whore is dead. Or we assume she's dead. And then the
Yuzu Rahat.
Well, then
you see her and the executioner both stabbed each other to death.
Yeah, so he's definitely dead, but she's like, the sword looks like it, so I'm guessing
it looked like it was here.
No, like it went out of frame, so I'm guessing like maybe they're doing the thing where she's kind of injured, but she's not dead. So I'd say probably like what half the people are
It could
dead
be a
or
thing
gone.
where all of those were like fake outs of the examples of what could be happening, but none of them are dead except for that one executioner.
Well, that one executioner, and then that one guy got killed on a boat. I'm guessing only half the people are left. So episode 3, I mean, by episode 3, we've killed off most of the cast that you already saw on the show on there. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where this show goes. But
yes, they also do the good like third episode job of
wanting you to have more.
Well, the stakes immediately get raised because a little butterfly thing with a human-looking face stabs
the samurai dude. He's immediately like,
yeah,
just cuts off his hand, and then you can see that's where the grow came from.
Mm-hmm. And there's some wild-looking monsters on the island.
It's centipedes with like hands for a mouth, and then like the bees with the human face. And I'm like,
and
I guess we'll mess with it, but it just seems
giant monsters, and that's kind of where we leave off. Where it's like, oh, there's.
We went from
teddy bear land.
We went from teddy bear monsters in Konosuba to like this thing is creepy and it's in my dreams and I never want to see it. Off note, real quick, it's still the same thing. We forgot to mention that like our guy and our girl fought. They made up on there. And
imagine he loves her more than his wife.
Nah,
if
man.
that be the whole big thing.
That would be the dumbest thing if he left her for her. I imagine it's going to be a thing where he wants
takes 2 wives. Woo!
Woo! Let's go, Yuzui from Demon Slayer. I'm guessing. I'm going to pre-guess how the show ends. You ready? He's going to find the fruit forever, but he doesn't want to live forever because he wants to live with his wife. Takes the fruit, throws it away, sacrifices himself to save the Sagiri girl, but he kills the chief of the village at the same time. Boom. That's my prediction.
Well, how do you kill an immortal man?
With an immortal blade.
What if
chicken butt?
He takes the one and he brings it back to the shogunate, but he just kills him and then takes it, and then him and his wife eat it, and then they can live happily, normally.
Nah,
forever.
They ain't gonna live forever. He's Romeo and Juliet himself. He's about dead on there. Hey, speaking of people that want to kill other people, so we're gonna be talking about Jesus Christ. I forgot the English name for the show. The Dangers in My Heart. No one should like this man. No one should like this man, hands down. It is a boy within the first episode is reading a murder novel thing, and he's like, yo, I just gotta kill someone. He has every single red flag of a potential school shooter.
Look, he's just a middle school.
No, don't.
Lord. This man's my spirit animal.
I feel like an author read an article about most American school shootings, like, I'm gonna make an edgy kid just like that.
But he's horny, and the person that he wants to kill is actually conflicted emotions that he really likes her. That man gets boners.
That is he's like, oh, gotta like sit like this. I got a boner right now.
And then I'm pretty sure it's alluded to the fact that the magazine that he bought, he jerked off to it all night.
Correct. I agree with you on that. And then he ran into the bathroom at one point when he was about to get another boner when she hugged him or something.
Yeah.
And then he went to go.
He said a comment where it's like, did you just go jack off in the bathroom?
I'm sure he went and jacked up in the school bathroom.
I think you jacked off in the bathroom too.
No one. This is like, listen, I don't know why I want to keep watching this show, but it's like, you should not like this kid. If they would have thought of anything else, like maybe he wanted to kill himself instead.
The big thing is like, and it makes it tonally different. If he was saying certain stuff like that, like, she's gonna be the one that I'm gonna kill. I wonder what her corpse is gonna be like. Which, he does at one point talk about her corpse, and it's like, calm down, boy.
They got really not graphic with it, but very
descriptive.
But overly descriptive.
He has a box cutter, and it's like, who let this man have a box cutter in school?
But to be fair, other people had box cutters in school. She was looking for her box cutter too.
I'm pretty sure she was looking for scissors. This man, like,
I bet she was looking for scissors.
Literally has like a box cutter, and where the fuck is the teacher? Because at one point they're giving a school presentation to class. He uses the box cutter to cut part of the thing. And there is no teacher at all during that presentation.
Sorry, I'm just reading through kind of like what people's ideas are in box cutters. Like, while it might seem weird, some students will go to school with box cutters for potential school projects on there.
Fucking wild.
This is from Reddit, so I know it's a reliable source.
This is shit you couldn't have in America. That kid would either slit his wrist in class or someone else is getting it to the thigh. Like, that is America.
No, they just bring guns to school, Justus. They don't bring box cutters.
Well, if box cutters were a normal thing, like, we totally don't allow box cutters. You can't have pointy scissors.
Do you have your box cutter on you?
It's in the...
wow, Justus just brings a box cutter, a death instrument, into my household. I don't feel safe anymore around him.
Do I need to move that door? What's behind that door, sir?
Shut up. That's besides the point.
But
you have a very good point that this.
Also,
you should not have a box cutter.
I'm a fucking adult and I need that thing for my job. So
Justus over there looking at Henry tomorrow at work, like, I could use this box cutter. Just imagine him. I'm not turning my back at you at work anymore. I'm afraid after this show.
If you hear a click, it's me going popping it open.
This show was just weird. Also, hang on, I got a whole nother thing.
She had the hell bloody nose, by the way.
So this show, yeah, she bled everywhere. She was bleeding all the way to the nurse's office when she got hit in the face with the basketball.
Yeah, that's like my normal bloody noses, man.
Well, she was like, I was afraid I broke my nose. I'm like, how fucking hard did you get hit in the goddamn face?
It's actually really easy to break your nose.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to break your nose. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like it was that hard in the show. Listen, besides that, there was some weird, some creepy. I'm okay if people want to like what they like. But there was a point when that one kid, I don't even know what his name was.
Oh, where he gets like...
Hanakoa shows up. She's like a girl with some, fat to her. She's obviously bigger than what most Japanese
guys. That's not what I thought you were going to...
No, I know what you're thinking about. We can talk about that in a sec. She's like, oh, I'm kind of fat. And the dude's like, oh, I kind of like bigger girls on there. Just all nice and squishy. And then at one point he's like, I kind of want to be held down. It's like, where is this going? Where are your fetishes going in this show, Mike?
Well, yeah, he's like, the plumper the better. Like,
the plumper the better. And then he's going into detail, but just like grabbing. I'm like, you're middle schoolers, right? Middle schoolers?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's okay to talk about
He reminds me of someone.
Yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about. But listen, I'm okay if people want to like what they like. But why are you getting...
Middle school's a little early to be like, yeah, give me them chubby chicks. Like...
It's whatever, to each their own. But it's weirder that he went into detail about what he really, really liked with other people.
Especially the girl that he kind of likes.
Like, I feel like this
chubby.
This author or whoever decided to write this was like, yo, I have some like untamed fetishes and like...
Probably. The one thing I will give it credit for is the main character.
What you say next.
Well, so there's two things. The main character, like, yes, saying and doing stuff that like seemed really problematic, but in the end, it's just very cringe. Like the fucker can barely talk to people. Like,
I was afraid we were going to go with that.
The other one is the group of kids behind him. Where, yes, even in middle school, that's like, yo, I found this one thing online. If they touch your hand this way, it means they're totally into this kind of sex.
Middle schoolers would definitely do shit
and it's like
that.
Yeah, this dude has either done some really good research or the mangaka and...
Shuo Adachi is the kid that's coming up with most of this stuff.
Yeah, specifically, like, the person who wrote this is either definitely gone to school in a much more modern age where that is... like been totally common, or like
this did his research,
really good research.
It got really.
That's just one of those like, oh, it's so cringe, but it's cringe because it's real.
We talked about the fetish thing that the one kid. He's not even on the list, which he shouldn't be, because what he talked about was just weird. Like Shuo was talking about, if they hold your hand.
No, he's on the list. Kenta.
Yeah. Where?
He's on my list. Oh, one of the last.
Oh, you have the whole thing up. This is just my anime list, whatever. Quick one. No, but like when he's talking about, if they hold your hand like this, they like being pinned down from behind, blah, blah, blah. So then like his buddy comes up, the one that likes the chubby chicks, grabs his hand from bottom. He's like, oh, this means he likes being held down and being taken advantage of from behind. I'm like, Why? Why did you look? What is going on? And luckily, one of the girls eventually is like,
Oh, I know what they're doing.
I know what they're doing. They found this on the sketchy site. It's a sex thing. And it's like,
That also totally happens too, where
Yeah.
it's like the chicks will catch on, and it's like, oh, it's ruined, run away.
also, Ichikawa or Koyu, I think is what she calls him in the show. She like shortens his name. Like that one point, the first time the boy's trying to walk him, it's like, I'm going to look at her wet shirt and see underneath. And then like, they never do it. I'm like, oh, thank God they're not going to do this in the show. Then 10 seconds later, she's like, oh, she's wearing a swimsuit underneath. I'm like, dude, why did you have, come on, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I
yes,
expected some of
but-
this crap from Comey Can't Communicate, but this show is just like, originally when I watched it, I'm like, oh, it's like a love story where he kind of likes her. Also, hang on, one thing I got to mention, Yamada is extremely tall for like her age group. She is taller than everybody else.
She's a model.
I guess that's another important thing too.
Sexualizing middle schoolers. Fuck yeah.
Netflix called Cutie Season 2 is ready.
That is one thing where it's like kind of weird, but it's whatever. Like, middle, like, you get models all over the place. So
Like you'll get models, but like in
and
this
specifically even the modeling, you do see the modeling that she's doing. It's just fucking clothing.
yeah, just
So it's
standard
nothing
clothing
bad.
on there. Also, this girl eats way too many snacks, man. I feel like she's my spirit animal. She's over there. She sneaks into the library. He's like, now's my chance to kill her. And she's over there
Hey,
like,
you
here's
even
my
learn why
here's
she's
my
like,
family-sized bag of potato chips that I'm gonna eat. I'll let you explain the rest on there.
she
She eats way too many potato chips to look like that. to be
she's
fair,
pulling out
Japanese-
some like Costco Dorito fucking size bags
And
where
she,
it's like,
she got literally at one point she's like, oh, she's going back for her sweater. Here, I brought your sweater. No, my candy. It's like, woman, stop. You have a problem. Sorry, continue. I just had to vocally tell you how disappointed I was in this.
She has maybe been pressured by some men to try to get contact information, which is totally like
Yo,
a
Justice,
thing.
where's my phone? Can I have your line info?
No.
Jokes,
Well,
and you already have it.
Yeah.
I'll
For
be
those
real-
that don't know, we went to Japan. We used Line while there because it's the most convenient.
And
But-
free. That's the important part. Yeah, that felt a little weird.
Yeah, he's like, no, give me your line info, and like held
Crap.
her
Just
wrist. and
squeezes
it's
her
like,
wrist.
ooh,
And
and
Our boy thought of the stupidest way to intervene.
it does work though.
I'm gonna yeet my bike down this way.
It's a distraction that like draws direct attention to it.
Should have murdered that boy.
And the big thing is, yes, he could yell and say something, but that would just like bring conflict directly to him. The easy thing in that situation is like legitimately eating the bike down, because it both draws attention from them to the bike, and then the people at the end will look where in the direction the bike came, focusing on where those two are as well.
I'm just gonna say this boy had skill. He threw the bike downhill. It managed to stay perfectly
He
upright.
fucking
Then
yeeted it.
then it like landed in the river, and they tried to make this boy look good. Like, he's not that bad. He did help me get my bike. It's like, no, motherfucker. He's a bad person. You should know it.
Yeah, they do know it, because at one point they shows back up in the girls' form, like the formation. And
Yeah.
it's like some girls will legitimately do that too. So like,
Yeah, you speaking from experiences?
no.
How come you never protect me from creepy strangers and want my line info?
I tell them the easiest thing to do is give you $20 and tell you to bend over. They're just
Why? Because I grabbed the hand from the bottom.
they're just really shy.
Oh,
They
my God.
No, I have sisters, so like.
Oh no, I love this show, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. They just need to tone it back on his murderous, like, yo, I want to murder this woman. It's like,
Well,
but I'm in love with her.
He
and
did. He's like, yo, I have
You're
feelings.
normalizing. You're
He
normalizing
says,
being
"Oh,
a
I have
creep."
feelings." Well, like
You-
she's bleeding
the sh-
everywhere, and he's secretly hiding underneath the.
This show is normalizing a
nurse
creep.
bed.
They need to stop normalizing this creepy behavior, because it's just gonna happen.
All middle schoolers are creeps.
Not this
Tell
level.
me I'm wrong.
This is not this level of I'm gonna murder people creep. But because I like her, I'm not a bad guy.
I've thought some real fucked up shit and dumb shit in middle school. I relate to this, man.
You know, you could quote Racket Ralph just because you're a bad guy.
Racket Ralph.
I don't know what that.
Wreck-It.
Wreck-It Ralph, sorry. Just because you're not the best.
Hey, you turn that racket down.
I feel that, man. I'm getting targeted this week. I get targeted in Konosuba. I get targeted in Dr. Stone. But you know, Justice, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. That was a quote in the movie. What do you want from me? Hey, speaking of people that are bad guys that aren't bad guys. Skip and Loafer. Okay, listen.
Skip. Yeah.
I said it right this time. I said it right plenty of times. He even corrected me earlier when I said it right.
It's weird because even on Mal, in one location it says Skip in Loafer, and then
it says Skip to Loafer, but the English is Skip and Loafer.
Yeah, it's weird.
Here, we'll title it. This is the highlight. Skip to and Loafer. Maybe that's what's supposed to be this whole time. Maybe it's about
Skip to and Loafer.
Skip to and.
I'm gonna be honest.
Hang on, I gotta say something. Did you notice what I noticed in this? Now-chan? Now-chan's a man, right? That's her family relative is how they phrased it. She's staying with while she goes to university or goes to school in Tokyo. She's a country bumpkin. Important information. Where her class was only 8 people, and her school had 26. They mentioned it multiple times. She comes to Tokyo to study at like the most prestigious school to like be in charge of Tokyo University and hopefully become prime minister of Tokyo. That's not what's important in this episode. I need to find out if Naokun is a man or a woman, because at one point on the train, they're like, is that a man? And I was like, I never really thought about it tonight. I just thought they drew kind of a manly woman. Like she's like an ugly kind of aunt. And then they zoom in on the legs, like the ankles. I'm like, I don't know if that's how you tell if there's a man or a woman. I don't know. Then they zoom in on the neck, and I kind of missed it. I wasn't sure, like, was there an Adam apple there? Like, I don't know.
What if they're transgender? What if they are?
More power to you, woman. More power to you, by woman, man, thing, person. Not thing, person.
They, them, until
well, they
otherwise.
said they're a beautiful woman. Also, I got to say, it doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. They have way more fashion sense than Mitsumi, because she literally was like, I look at all these cute fashion things. Like, I'm going to wear all of them at once. And it's like, please don't go like that. How much time? Do you have time? Okay, we're going to change your outfit.
I have significantly better, like, outfits than
she doesn't have much to wear. She moved from a bumpkin town, man. Maybe she works the fields. Maybe she's growing the rice that you eat. Maybe she was out there doing the Lord's work.
Well, the Lord has like
clothes are expensive.
6 days off, so she's got time to get some fashion. God damn it!
Yeah, but she's at school 5 of those days, so she only has 1 day.
1 day to get it right every single week. So she has 52 days a year.
Yeah,
almost 2 months.
But you have
to get exactly 2 months if you count February and January.
No, you gotta think about family time. You gotta think about clothes. You know, you gotta go shopping. You gotta figure it out.
It looks like she's got time, and she's real shit at it.
I think this is the best high school show I've seen in a while.
I feel really bad. I was very bored with this show.
It's a relaxing show. Did you watch all 3 in like one sitting?
Yes, I watched.
I think it's the worst ways to binge it. I watched 1 episode, watched another episode, something else, came back, watched this.
Yeah, I watched all 3 in a row, and you were talking about like the family friend or aunt or whatever they try to refer to her as, and you started bringing up the like, oh, is that a man, is that a woman thing. I have no recollection of that because my brain was like,
I'm sorry that you have a like monkey brain and can't remember. This show is good. Well, it's relaxing. Was actively
watching.
What did you watch before it? What did you watch before it?
The Dangers of My Heart.
So that's like a more kind of like hyper show on it. This show is nice, relaxing. It's got a good pacing to it. I think you just...
I would assume yes. It's just... I know like now that like not watching 3 episodes of this in a row, this isn't a binge-worthy series.
Did you watch this late at night too? Were you kind of tired?
I did watch it at night.
Your Honor, he was tired. Listen, this show does an amazing thing.
At one point, they had that entire conversation about like caramel popcorn and like buttered popcorn. That's where I was like, "What?
No, salted popcorn."
Whatever.
It's like you weren't even listening, Justice.
Buttered popcorn.
Also, I want to mention
that's where I was like, oh, Toho Cinema has that because they walked into a Ho-Ho Cinema.
I know. That's
and
what
I was like, okay.
You know where all the hoes be at? Ho-Ho
Yeah.
Cinema. I know exactly where that was. We walked by it. That's at the Godzilla Cafe.
Yeah. I forget
I'm
which.
all cultured in Japan.
We never brought it up last time either because
You're pregnant.
no, last week for Ocean. No, wait, never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Well, there was a point where they walked into like a Tojo studio or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of a Toho, it was like a Tojo. Besides,
there's
the
those
stadium.
weird,
The stadium was called but they changed the name slightly, but then they kept names of other things. No, this show. Listen, I'm going to say
same thing with this.
What this show does well is you have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 basically kind of characters you're following kind of all at once.
One of them may have secretly been an actor.
Maybe.
The
thing is, each one of them has a different personality, and watching like friend groups of like people that are completely different mesh together well, and they have a good quote of like, "Oh, I thought you'd like to do this. You'd hang out with people because our boy Sosuke, or is that how you supposed to say his name? Sosuke, however you say his name. He talks about just because you like the same things doesn't mean you click well. Because you see him at one point hang out with kind of his old friend group, and he kind of leaves. Because he seems to be like maybe a former actor like you thought, but his dad was definitely an actor because...
Narumi's a hell of a character. You get introduced to him wearing a skirt and some heels.
Hey, what a trooper, man. Anything for theater. Which maybe only like 6 people showed up to, but hey, they still put on the performance, man.
Yeah.
Just like you subscribers. It's like a PBS thing brought to you viewers like you.
Oh, God.
Cringe. No, but it's cool to see all these different personalities. Like even Mika, that like is kind of bitchy and she just wants to like kind of date Sosuke, but doesn't like that he likes Mitsui. Because it's kind of that thing where I get tired of the show where it's like this mediocre guy gets this like great girl. I like the reverse of it, where like this kind of mediocre girl gets like this great guy just because she has like a good personality and actually is good compared to like 90%.
Good personality? Fucking
Well,
whore.
she really cares about, like, what? Did you just call her a whore? My God. Listen, I will die on this. Listen, I'm looking at the camera. I will die on the hill for Mitsui any day. That's best girl. I'm calling it now. Entire year.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I can't do that. Megumi's best girl.
Yeah.
In my heart. Listen,
liar.
Megumi's the best girl in my heart. Mitsui's my best girl on the outside.
On the sleeve of the
on
heart.
the sleeve. On the artery, the femoral artery. I don't know what artery. No, hear me out. Listen, she's great. She really cares about her school and class and work, and she's honestly, her goals are just to go back home and make everything better for like everyone in the town and the city. She's there to make things better for people, and she still cares about the connections she made with her friends. And it is kind of like a nice story of you go from a small town to a big city, and you're learning how to kind of interact that whole way.
Yeah.
And then she throws up on her teacher.
Yeah, she does throw up on her teacher. You can see the like
She
bright, brilliant mind and the adolescent, frazzled individual that she actually is. Because, she's like, I've got this entire thing planned out. I'm going to go to this Tokyo high school, study, make it into Tokyo University, graduate, become like a political person. I know it's not prime minister, but she's like some government office.
Yeah, then she wants to come back and be mayor of her town.
When she retires there, being a mayor for her town for the rest of her days, also, and make the area like really good. And then you realize where it's like, oh no, she missed the train because she got really nervous and
missed her stop and doesn't know how to get there.
Yeah,
and Sosuke's like, oh, she's fine. I'll keep going. She's like, help me.
Yeah.
I will say the show did a great job of like, if you never ridden the train system before and you know nothing about it like she does, it's really fucking confusing.
Yeah, we made it. I'm sorry that
I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me that we made it all right.
I made it just fine. If someone didn't fall on their ass in a miscommunication.
I was a victim in this situation. It was wet. There was tiles. My boots don't have traction on flat tiles, and I fell and hurt myself. I'm a victim, and you're victim shaming.
The victim's little bitch.
And then he said 5 stops, and we got off 5 stops later.
Because I didn't know you weren't on that.
And then he gave me shit that I got off on the wrong one, but I trusted this boy with everything in my heart.
We didn't know. I didn't know until like after I had talked to DJ where it was like,
that sounds like Epstein's defense. You didn't know.
I literally didn't know till DJ and I got off on the transfer, and it was like, hey, where are the other ones? And he's like, oh, they missed their stop. And I was like, I told him 5 stops. Like, I thought they were just in the train car over.
Now
the answer was no.
Now we're theys. Wow. Hey, back to the show, though.
There was 3 of us. Or 3 of theys.
Wow. I will say the coolest kind of character development is, see Mika at the end of episode 3 kind of changed. You haven't seen her yet, really. Was Makoto. She was going into the student council, and, Mo shows like, we're going to join the student council. And then they join. And this show, it's like, well, you can't really join as first years. You got to do blah, blah, blah. Then they join like the secondary help group.
Mm-hmm.
You see Makoto kind of opening up more because she's a real shut-in girl. It's, it reminds me of kind of like, not exactly what?
She looks like the type of character that later on in the season, she's going to take off her glasses and let her hair down, and she's going to be like super hot, and it's going to be super annoying. Sorry, continue.
I know exactly what manga you're trying to talk about.
Well, it's just like any of them.
Yeah.
It's like the trope.
Whatever, maybe. I don't know. So, what the show kind of reminds me of is Mitsui, even though she's the center of all of it, it kind of feels a little bit, not exactly, but kind of like a similar structure to Akabe Sailor Uniform, where you have this one girl from a random city.
Everyone's lives.
Well, she is. She's better. So she's kind of better at Sosuke. She's better at Makoto. She's kind of better at Mika by not like really taking it to heart, but she's also kind of dumb and doesn't know what's going on. And then you see Yuzuki, which seems to be like super fashionable, blah, 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 just shows up, ahead of her time, more mature. Mm-hmm. And then Makoto and Yuzuki kind of become friends because you find out Makoto doesn't want to like hang out with Yuzuki because she was bullied by girls like her. And Yuzuki just wants to hang out with people and be liked, not for her looks, because she's actually a cool person. They also did karaoke. Mitsuki just pulls out the oldest thing she can because that was hip in her town.
Yeah, I mean, it worked, right? Do songs that's part of the thing.
You know that meme where it's like, hello, my fellow high schoolers on there? That's exactly what she was like.
Look, everyone liked it because it's basically a kid
Maybe
song.
that should be like the thumbnail picture for this.
We never did karaoke.
Don't even start with me, man. Listen, I know we're talking about our shows, but I got beef with these people.
We're near the end.
I'm saying these people because you motherfuckers. I'm over here.
How dare you talk about them like
Mexicans unite. I'm putting this down. I'm mad. I told these motherfuckers every single day. I'm like, yo, there's like a chain of like karaoke places. I'm like, hey, let's do karaoke. You're like,
it was a 6-minute walk.
No, then he was like, dude, we walked by them. We were walking by them already, and we were going on our way home. And it's like, we don't have nothing else to do. Let's go home and just maybe relax. We walked by a karaoke place, and I was like, dude, we can go. We can go right now. I'll pay for the whole thing. I will pay for the whole thing. Justus, Jake, DJ. Nah, let's not do karaoke. We'll do it another time. And I was like, okay, a couple days later. Hey, boys, we doing karaoke before we leave?
We just needed more time.
Oh my God, I will murder you.
we also never went to an izakaya, so it's like
I'm over here like, let's do it. They're like, nah. Then we get back to like, oh, we never did karaoke. You motherfuckers just chose not to do it. And you're like, oh, we didn't do it. It's like we had plenty of time to do it. Multiple situations to do it. I was going to make reservations, pay for it, find the place we were going to go. And you guys didn't want to go. And then we get back from Japan. They complain about that. Then they're like, maybe a maid cafe would have been fun. It's like, you motherfuckers.
I was advocating for the maid cafe.
Don't you dare. I have video proof that this motherfucker chose not to go to the maid cafe. And I say, and I quote, it's kind of weird. After we went through as a group of 5 to buy mountains and hundreds of dollars of hentai. I am shitting you not. You saw it like last podcast. This dude over here, and he's telling people at work, he's like, Matt's weird. He wanted to go to a maid cafe. And other people at work are like, yo, that would have been a cool story. Would have been cool. Even Improvise is like, yo, moi moi kun. And I was like, I hate you so much. I hate you so much right now.
Skip and Loafer's okay. We'll see you next week.